Are you struggling with tight hips and you're looking for a simple exercise routine that you can use to release them from a chair? If you are, then this video is perfect for you. Hi everybody, my name is Will Harlow and I'm the Over-Fifties Specialist Physio here at HT Physio in Farnham. And today I'm going to show you a really simple 3-step exercise program that you can use to release tight hips from a chair. Now, before we dive into the content of the video, if you haven't already, please like this video and subscribe to the channel, because then you'll be the first to hear about our videos as soon as they come out. You can do it using the link below this video. Now that that's been said, let's talk about tight hips and how to release them. So when we're talking about tight hips, what we're talking about is tightness around the front of the hip area. Typically it'll be in the groin, or maybe it'll be just to the side of the hip region, or maybe it'll be around the back of the hips. Maybe you've noticed that you feel tight when you're getting in and out of a car, or when you're getting out of bed in the morning, or it just feels really stiff at the front of your hips. Maybe it's knocking on and giving you some lower back pain as well, which is really common. Maybe it's affecting the way you walk. Maybe it hurts a lot after you've been sitting for a while. Whatever the case may be, there's a nice simple routine you can take yourself through, especially if you're someone who sits a lot, which will undo some of the harmful effects of sitting and loosen up those hips. Now, before I show you the exercises, it's important to note that these aren't suitable for everyone, so make sure you get checked out by your own healthcare professional first before diving in. After you've had yourself checked out by a provider and they've given you the all clear, then it's time to have a go at the exercises. So let's have a look at those exercises now, and you can have a go at them at home. So let's show you a simple routine that you can use to release tight hips from a chair. Now, the prerequisite for this is that you should sit on a nice, sturdy and firm chair. You shouldn't really be doing this from a sofa. It will be harder and probably not quite as effective. So an office chair or a dining room chair works best. Now, for the purposes of demonstration, we're going to pretend it's my right hip that feels stiff. I'm going to sort of pretend I've got stiffness at the front, stiffness at the back of it, stiffness just in the buttock as well, and it's making life miserable. Now, to unlock the areas of stiffness, basically there are 3 regions we're going to unlock. We're going to unlock the front of the hip, the side of the hip, and the back of the hip. At the front of the hip, we've got our hip flexors, which you might have heard of before. We've got the psoas muscle, iliopsoas we call it, and you've also got rectus femoris, which is one of your quads, so we're going to loosen up those. On the side, we've got the tensor fasciae lata, which is a little muscle just out here, and then around the back of the muscle, back of the hip, we've got our gluteal muscles as well. There's 3 of those, and we've also got the piriformis there too. So this stretching program targets all 3 of these zones and helps to loosen them if they're making your hips tight. So the first thing we're going to do from a sitting position is we're going to work on loosening up both the side and the back. So to make this work, what you need to do is you need to shuffle forward into your chair just so you're perched on the edge of the chair. And you're going to bring up the knee that you wish to stretch of the hip of. So you're going to put your shin on the opposite knee. So you're going to have your ankle region, so just above your ankle, your shin is going to rest on the opposite knee, and you're going to use your opposite hand just to help to keep it there, okay? Now, when you get into this position, the first thing you're going to try and do is you're just going to try and let this leg relax. Many of you, when you start off in this position, your knee's going to be up like this, but as you relax, you'll start to see that knee just fall out slightly, okay? Now, the other thing you'll find is you'll probably start like this. So you'll start bent almost over in double. I want you to try and sit up straight. Now, when you try to sit up straight, you'll probably notice that you already get a stretch around the back and the side of your hip. So the first stretch we're going to do is we're just going to try and increase that stretch nice and gently. So you're going to take the hand on the same side of the hip that you're stretching and just rest it on top of your knee. You're going to keep yourself sitting up nice and tall, and you're just going to gently push that hand down to push the leg away from you. Now, this particularly gets that tensor fasciae lata area on the side of the hip. And as you've got that position, you're just going to gently, keeping your back nice and straight, you're just going to lean forward. So we're not bending the spine, we're leaning forward at the hip. So I'll show you again. So we're leaning like this, and we're not letting the knee pop up. Now, you'll probably start to get quite an intense stretch in your hip around the back and the side as you do this. Once you've got that stretch, you just hold it for about 30 seconds. Don't bounce in and out. The only reason I'm moving in and out is so you can see the difference between the upright and the not upright position. You hold for 30 seconds. You try and relax your knee into it so your knee falls away from you as you do it. And then you relax. And already you should start to feel that your hip is a little bit looser. Now, the next thing we're going to do from this position is we're going to go into our second stretch, which stretches around the back of the hip. So we're going to stay in this position, this figure 4 position, and this time we're going to take both of our hands around the knee, okay? So you take your hand off the ankle and you support your leg. So you should still be able to relax your leg. It shouldn't slip out from underneath you. Your hands are cradling it quite nicely and it should be relaxed. Now, the next thing you're going to do, instead of pushing it down, is you're going to pull this knee up. And you're going to pull the knee up and across towards the opposite shoulder. So as it comes up and across, you're going to feel a similar stretch, but it will be a different intensity and it will be further round the back of the hip. So this is more of a gluteal stretch. So it stretches your glutes, your gluteus medius, minimus and maximus, all around the back of the hip. And again, we're just going to hold for 30 seconds. You try and keep yourself nice and upright as you do this. We're not slouching. We're keeping ourselves nice and tall. And once you've done 30 seconds, you're just going to relax. Now, if you find that both of your hips are tight, at this point, you're going to do the same thing on the opposite side. So that would look something like this. You bring this leg up. You try and let the leg relax. You put your hand on top. You sit up tall and you just push down. Then you lean forward. I'm actually tighter on this side than the other side. I can feel that already. So then you hold for 30 seconds. And once you've done your 30-second hold, you come underneath the knee and you pull up and across towards the opposite shoulder. So this is my left knee, it's going towards my right shoulder. Then you hold again for 30 seconds once you've got that stretch around the back of the buttock. And then you relax. So that's the first part. Now, once you've done that, we still haven't addressed anything at the front here, and we really need to unlock these tight hip flexors to complete our mobility program. So I'm going to show you a nice stretch that you can use for your hip flexors. Now, this one is technically done outside the chair, but we still need to use the chair to help us. So what you're going to do is you're going to turn the chair around just so you've got something to hold on to the back of. So again, this works best for a dining room chair. And you're going to go down onto one knee. Come back here so you can see. So if I'm down onto one knee, again, what I'm going to show you is a stretch for the right hand side. So the hip flexor goes down here. It's quite a deep muscle. It's right deep in the hip, but it's at the front. And the knee I'm going to stretch is the one that's down on the floor. So the first thing to note is we're at a 90-degree angle here. We're at a 90-degree angle here. And we're at a 90-degree angle down there between my thigh bone and my shin bone. Now, all I'm going to do is I'm going to pretend that I have a tail. Okay, I've got a tail at the back here, and I'm going to pretend I'm trying to tuck my tail between my legs. So what that means in practice is I have to squeeze my buttocks to get my tail underneath me and between my legs. We call this a posterior pelvic tilt. So I'm squeezing my buttocks, I'm tucking my tail in, and already I can feel quite an intense stretch at the front of the thigh and in the front of the hip as well, in the hip flexor. So once I've got that stretch, all I do is I hold that contraction of the buttock, I keep that stretch on, and I hold for 30 seconds. And then once you've done that, you relax and you swap sides. So you put your other knee down, you bring this one up. So again, we've got those 90-degree angles going on here. We sit up tall and we tuck the tail between the legs. And again, I can feel the stretch, same place, but on the opposite side, down the front of the leg. And this loosens up the iliopsoas and the rectus femoris. So those are the 3 stretches you need to loosen yourself up if you've got tight hips. They work an absolute dream to conquer all kinds of different hip tightness issues. Give them a go. Do them regularly throughout the day, especially if you sit a lot, and then see what happens to your tight hips. So that's the simple exercise routine you can take yourself through from a chair to release tight hips. I hope that's been helpful. If you've enjoyed this video and you've got benefit from these exercises, let us know what they did for you by leaving a comment below. I'd be really interested to see if they helped. And other than that, if you want more exercises from me to counter the effects of stiffness and to release tightness and to counter the effects of aging, you can always pick up a copy of my book. It's called Thriving Beyond 50, and you can find it on Amazon using the link below this video. Anyway, that's all I've got for you today. Thank you very much for watching, and I look forward to speaking to you on the next one.